Russ was there, and we'll figure out if it's going to be there in game number 2 here as we bring up the battleground to figure out where we're headed. It is going to be Octalysis taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen. And to be honest, you know, based on the performance that we got from Team Freedom yesterday, I would feel very, very comfortable bringing this, you know, just based on that single-handedly, the 3-level lead, but then letting that kind of recovery coming out from Gale Force. Felt like didn't have the level of dominance that we would hope here from the squad. And again, based on the signs of game number 1, I'm sitting here very, very timid for Team Freedom.
Well, the other thing is we saw the Garrosh ban by Team Octalysis against Team Freedom on Infernal Shrines, one of Garrosh's worst battlegrounds statistically. So now all of a sudden we've got that. If you ban out the Garrosh again, you're going to dare Zugrug. You want to try that Diablo again? Didn't work out for you on Infernal Shrines. Go ahead. I really wonder if they do that, then Maiev potentially gets let through, or Medivh. I really am curious about the bans here, especially given that we see first pick over now on the side of Team Freedom. So I want to see, is Team Freedom willing to try and play around that Medivh Maiev? This is a very interesting draft for me.
You got any similar thoughts there, fam, when it comes to the priority? Well, the Garrosh already taken off the table, so I guess that answers a little bit of it. But do you feel like there is a, you know, must do or don't for either side here on Tomb?
I think in North America in particular, the Medivh will be, usually it's insta-locked, whereas in Europe, it's a little bit more dropping down. Europe likes to set up their composition first with maybe a Malfurion or Blaze, whereas NA really likes to just get the power pick right away, just snap lock the Medivh or the Maiev if it's open. That being said, though, I do think the Diablo is still a very real concern for both sides. I don't think Zugrug played bad per se last game. It's just his backline did not have the damage to follow up what he was doing. So I think the Medivh Diablo composition can still be really good for Team Freedom if they decide to pick it up here.
We get the Jaina into the Medivh again. This time, team swapping sides, so definitely a little bit different. Just, I don't know. And when I look at the numbers after this, is now all of a sudden here in North America we get a lot of Jaina, and now we've seen it against Medivh. I'm kind of curious about Jaina into the Medivh. Feels like sometimes it's kind of counterintuitive, especially post level 13. Everybody's just kind of, here's a shield, here's a bunch of Jaina damage. It doesn't really do much. So I feel like the follow-up definitely has to be there. I also wonder, because Octalysis is one of our Junkrat teams, if we might see that post-second ban.
Yeah, it's a good call, you know, to be maybe make the Medivh second guess themselves a little bit more here. For Freedom, I feel like we can assume that whatever frontliner they're going to pick up here would be with it. No, they're going to risk possibly getting that, you know, Diablo, like we were talking about, maybe banned out if they end up going that direction. But the Greymane, it's going to help with the 1-4 quite heavily there. Why only get, I don't know. I normally would be like, I'm concerned whenever you commit to Stukov within a 4-man, but your 4-man's intent is not kill potential, it's just siege potential. But Stukov is still pretty good at sieging capabilities with that lurking arm past that gate front wall.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me here is they decided to pick up the Greymane instead of the Hanzo, and that kind of, that's not what we have seen so far previously. Hanzo has been much higher priority in that slot.
Yeah.
So it makes me lean more towards the Diablo, because that's one of the main reasons why you would pick a Greymane, so your opponent can't pick it, and Hanzo is a lot worse into Diablo, but Team Octalysis recognizes that and second bans it.
I'm really curious if we're not going to get a Stitches for one of these teams.
I was going to say that, but we had Diablo available. Now that it's banned out, I would not put it past Team Freedom, you know, to be comfortable flexing over towards that. I think it's let through here on this rotation for Octalysis. That mine, it's not like Octalysis can't pick it up, at least so far. Jaina is one of the best backline DPS to be able to pair with it. Malfurion's one of the best supports as well, so definitely comfortable to make that happen. It's just, do you want to pick a Stitches into a Medivh? It's not bad. It's just that it's the, you know, here's the late game hook one-shot. Pretty much doesn't happen when facing that Medivh.
I think it's a question about confidence, because at this point it really does seem like Team Freedom, especially with Zugrug's history and what he plays, they are leaning towards that Stitches. So you can either pick it up, but it doesn't fit your composition very well, or you can be confident and know that you can win the early game, get those web weavers, get the walls down, so Medivh Stitches cheese is not as deadly. And it looks like that's what they're going with. They're going with an extremely strong early game, extremely strong wave player, and they're just going to try and say, it doesn't matter if you have Medivh Stitches, because we're going to win early game, you're not going to have your forts. It's going to be really hard for you to make that work.
It does feel like this is compositionally Octalysis kind of just going, you know, with this game we aren't too concerned about our overall team fight. That mind, it's not like their team fight is bad by any means. They even have backliners that synergize with Johanna. Like, things are like very, very good, but it is just their composition is very much looking towards the map itself and just going, we're going to gain an upper hand and snowball the objective so hard that you might not even find yourselves on that even talented, you know, kind of team fight capabilities. Things that might be able to make up for that, though, is we do get ourselves a Leoric. And I will say, you know, a Leoric pick here with the composition that they have so far when it comes to damage dealers that they have, and the fact that it is mainly a gray main, you know, with the Medivh kind of being a little bit less or so, is typically when you have a Leoric, you like very, very high, long, sustained DPS. And though gray main can provide, you know, pretty reasonable sustained DPS, I just feel like it's not nearly high enough with Medivh being that other hero on the roster
Is
to
there a
suffice.
chance we get a Tracer here?
Yeah, I think Tracer's the most likely one here.
Yeah, you can dodge. Junkrat would kind of be my 1A, 1B scenario, but I feel like the way that this team normally plays out, Dansky, majority of the games on the Jaina, there's the Medivh and the Grey Main on the other side, but I feel like threat-wise for a Tracer, there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, the thing about the Tracer is there's nothing on the other team that can kill the Tracer, and on top of that, Team Octalysis already has wave clear in spades. Now what they want is something to disrupt rotations, stop turn-ins, and Tracer's perfect for that.
Yeah, the Junkrat, it's kind of like he doesn't have extreme kill potential, but if you're relying on him to be more primarily wave clear, Jaina being kind of the assassin to really get the kills, it's there, but both of them are pretty skill shot reliant. Tracer has a lot more sustain. As you said, there's not a lot of threats towards kill potential. Yes, there is a force of will, but we're talking about a new Medivh. It's not 5 seconds anymore because that was terrible to play into. 8 seconds, a little bit different. So curious, have you seen anybody, by the way, because there's the cooldown later, if you eat X amount of damage, it reduces the cooldown. Is anybody picking that against the Tracer?
I mean, I picked that one. It's my new go-to now that AoE has been nerfed. I think it's quite good.
Curious.
I mean, I would say the same argument, you know, it's like, especially into the Tracer, it's pretty effective, I think, right now since the nerfs came in. Like, in general, you don't even have to into a Tracer. Tracer puts up a really good argument of like, yeah, this would consistently gain that kind of value.
And Jaina.
Yeah, and the Jaina on the other side of the battlefield. I think you would need more than just a Tracer to justify that big of a talent adjustment, and luckily we have it here. We'll see if it comes to light here as game number 2 between Team Freedom and Octalysis awaits.
Justin, one of the rare people that has a positive win rate on the Johanna, sitting at 5-4. But again, this is going to be her best battleground here on Tomb of the Spider Queens. This is the one time where you won't hear me have any issues with it.
I'll still put her on Dragonshire, where I will not ever say anything about a Johanna that much.
It's actually Justin's second most played hero coming into this series, coming in this weekend.
That's pretty interesting.
12 on ETC, 9 on Johanna, 8 on Diablo. He has probably one of the more diverse hero pools. It's sometimes like one of those things I'm like, Justin, you're trying to do too much. But he's like, don't worry, I got this. See if he's got it here.
The fight for the mid-wave should go heavily in favor of Octalysis. The main thing here, yeah, you see, what, 6 minions were alive before the wipe? They are going for an unorthodox laning situation here, not catering to the standard 1-4. You might be going, well, why would this be the game where you make that happen? Greymane with the Stitches rotations plus the Stukov and the kill potential. Wow, Blaze is out way too far, though. The fact that he was able to get off that jet propulsion, I'll be honest, I don't think should have happened. Lutano should have been able to body block that for sure. Either way, Goku does make it out of that situation, but it's because the Greymane rotations are so very fast whenever you do end up having, you know, the Medivh to be able to help with the portal transitions between the two, break it up a little bit here, not want to cater to the norm.
That is very fast clear, and the fact that they can flex the Tracer up to be any type of disruption, any type of kill threat, obviously, so long as Medivh is lurking around, it's highly unlikely you'll get any type of pulse bomb kill early. That's one of the major changes of a Tracer, a lot more in the sustain category this go-around in this version.
This clear on mid is a pretty good tell to show you kind of the difference when it comes to the wave clear between the two teams. Malfurion and Jaina were on Knights the entirety of that wave. And even though they met together at even timing, still Octalysis pretty easily kind of kept the tempo in towards their favor. Calculated.
Yeah, I looked over, I'm like, oh, never mind, he's fine. He's fine. You know, you kind of have those moments. There's actually, I think McIntyre put out a really good guide on clearing camps. It's one of the things that you can do on Knights is if you rotate around get away with that. There is a really big stun with some roots, little baby portal, make sure you get over the wall. But there's some really good information out there on how to effectively clear Knights without taking a lot of damage. I mean, he might have gone over there a little bit already, but soloing camps is a thing if you just rotate around one of them after you clear the mage one.
Yeah, they kind of go full Cho'Gall. Hold up, Justin, no iron skin, out way too far there with a 4-man condemn attempt over the wall. I mean, it was ambitious, but nobody kind of indicated that they had the same interest on the side of Octalysis. It was very interesting. Definitely a miscommunication there, but no matter what, the fact that Freedom able to get that pick, and more importantly, that first blood momentum into their favor, just can't let up here.
Yeah, that was because he ate 2 big turret shots. I mean, that's the thing, is like the turrets nowadays, I mean, we should know at this point, 2018, those things hit like a truck. But again, no minions there to eat those shots, so unable to divert some of those shots over to minions.
The rest of the kind of rotations between the two, other than that kind of hiccup here for Octalysis, have gone pretty well so far, managing to turn in 20 of their gems. Just losing that member, set them about 5 behind the entirety there of Team Freedom. For now, though, I would say if anybody has the, forcing the hand, Freedom is going to be matching Octalysis and going, can we get picks? Whereas Octalysis is the one who should be setting the tempo, which you see kind of here for a moment up on mid, because of their wave player being so superior, and they're the ones who has the, kind of burden on their shoulders to be forcing the turn-in here on 2.
See, so far, and it's interesting on timing, see who attempts the first turn-in. Now both teams with enough for that turn-in. A root's going down just to make sure. So the root's there because going vengeful, because it can block hook targets as well. He's kind of making sure that, look, I don't want to be hooked. At least that's what I think he would use it there for, because it was a little out there. But you can use those things, little tricks.
A little bit of a turn-in attempt here up top. Cure going in there, burning all 3 of his blinks just to make sure he got the interrupt. Great timing there on the pulse bomb as well. Just able to stop that initiation or turn-in attempt there from Team Freedom. And as long as they can keep that up, they're now going to buy a lot of time to, kind of win that turn-in snowball attempt that their composition is so very good at. And that, man, that was a play that I don't think is going to, you normally look at and you'd be like, okay, another interrupt. But when you consider the composition and the goals of the snowball that they have here, it's a major play now for Octalysis. Just can they confirm those 4 extra gems?
I was wondering what we would get here, as Cure still sitting a little bit below probably comfort levels. But, one of the things that we see a lot at level 7 for Greymanes is the extra human range to deal with the poke of a Tracer. Instead, we're seeing the cocktail build coming out here. So obviously trying to commit a little bit more towards that wave clear as we go on. Obviously got to stack that up against heroes, but definitely trying to find different forms of damage in all facets here by going that at level 7.
Another, hold up here. 2 teams, I mean, it's really interesting. If we notice with the laning situation how we never have had a standard 1-4 whatsoever, Blaze has been holding top for the most part. Octalysis, if they are running a 1-4, you would argue it's through mid and bottom rather than the mid-top, which you normally see. Yoda out a little bit there. He's trying to bait the Force of Will. Curia ended up using his recall. Zugrug looking to punish up on that one. Bolts away. And honestly, that distraction on Cure alone allowed enough kind of, real estate to force that turn-in down below. Octalysis get the first Web Weaver phase, and that is exactly what they need for this composition.
And we see Justin going the punish talent at level 7. It's one of the ones that if you complete it, Dreadnought, you hit 4 members with 1 punish, then all of a sudden you've got the mega slow. No matter how many targets you hit, it doesn't matter. I think it's one of those things that if you can complete it, you look at a Medivh, a lot of people, they're going to be clumped up. You have a lot of melee in particular on the other side. So if he can finish that, this is going to be the battleground and this is going to be the composition he can do it on. But right now, they should be cresting level 10 here soon as they're starting to open up this map just a little bit and stretch that lead. You can also see Master's Touch completed there for Medivh.
Yoda out a little bit too far there. Had to go ahead and take the portal. Mid pressure is going to secure this fort, and it's going to get 10s here for Octalysis. Freedom out a little bit too far there. More than I would have allowed, kind of felt comfortable with is knowing their heroics were picked up. We saw what happened last game when Octalysis picks up the 10s, a snap horrify into another kill. But they survive this one, make the transition down, and it's going to be a double 4 pickup for them. Pretty successful first Web Weaver phase. When you consider the advantages and how much wave clear they have in the composition, I don't think you'd look at this and go, they got far and above what you would expect, but definitely a, you know, kind of just satisfied check mark here over the first phase.
No falling sword. Justin's experiment with falling sword. Not so great the first go around. We'll see if maybe any future plays are on it. Instead, Blast Shield. Get that set up. We also got Twilight Dream. We've seen a lot of Tranquility lately. This time we're going to get the Twilight Dream. Try and get the big plays. So we'll see.
If for anybody, you know, if you ever intend to play Tranquility into a Medivh, unless the objective is a long sustained objective, like maps like maybe Battlefield of Eternity or, you know, Volskaya Foundry, the odds of you getting a Tranquility value in a team fight are non-existent. You pop Trank and he portals and goes, lol, okay, why are we ever going to fight into this? Twilight Dream's fast. It always has the opportunity, and more importantly, it can maybe even disable him. Gorge coming in. There's the portal. He has Iron Skin, though. He gets it before. Now here comes the Polybomb.
He wanted to try and complete his quest, unable to do so. You know, that's one of the things, one of your... Oh, just missing. One of the things that does work really well, obviously having potentially Blaze nearby. You can get the stun to make sure he doesn't make it to the portal. You have the roots from Malfurion. Neither one were quite in range. We also saw a massive shove in there. Nasmus, he's going to eat quite a bit of damage. Pulse Bomb's going to land. Yoda makes it over just in time.
That was such a, you know, fancy and the non-fanciest way possible. Like, it was a subtle play, but it's just like the Wraith Walk into the snap. The second he stops that, the Pulse Bomb, and there's a Force of Will immediately there. Like, here's your portal. I've got everything you need. Come with me, Leoric. We will save you. They get the save. And now time to siege up here. With this Web Weaver phase is going to start on mid. Once they break the gates, it's very difficult to kind of defend against Zugrug there on that Stitches. Right there, once it drops, now suddenly defending again over this middle lane is going to be a lot more difficult, and expect the members of Octalysis to kind of try and constantly be afraid and play around that element.
Seemed pretty decent clear up here. Again, that gate instead. Who needs a gate when you've got a portal directly in? Now they're going to find their way just a little bit too far in. Portal, not there. Blessed Shield's going to line him up. There's going to be the Condemn. We see the Water Elemental down. Zugrug looking for an opportunity. He gets the hook, but it doesn't matter. Lutano confirms the kill onto the Tracer. That's going to kick things off to start. Hook was used in the middle of that. A few more seconds before we get another one of those.
We got March of the Black King through that as well. Able to keep up, you know, Nasmus when he was caught out maybe for a moment there after the Blessed Shield Welly attempt. Good job here from Team Freedom holding on, and the fact that they find themselves now with enough gems to get this turn in. This is really their opportunity to kind of open up this map and snowball this game out of control.
13 picked up, 13 close here for Octalysis. And now they got a little bit of structure damage in first go round. As the numbers go up, these things scale a little bit harder, and we'll see if they can get some more damage in. Again, with the Blaze, the Johanna, the Jaina, wave clear is very abundant on the side of Octalysis. So we'll see if they can hold here, dodge the hooks in the meantime, because it's all about the hook, Gorge, portal, Polybomb, one target, blow up.
Portal ends up being taken here by Zugrug. Nothing got to be gained, at least for now. That bottom Web Weaver not going to gain too much value as that was pushed out so heavily against Team Freedom. Meaning that they need to make this top one that much more impactful, because mid is getting cleared pretty effectively. And there it is, catching out Cure and then landing the hook onto Malfurion, the Blessed Shield and the Condemned to try and buy enough time, but the Polybomb comes out. Bud's trying to kite away. Will he dream? No, he's going to hold on.
I think there was an audible cue. I don't know if he had used it. It was ever so subtle. It was kind of like that brief 0.2 seconds. I was listening for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's best. That's the moment where you're like, look, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I'm a dead Malfurion no matter what there. I agree. It's a moment where I would like to see them kind of hold on to it, but we, you know, have seen those moments where, you know, teams in the past would be willing to maybe panic. Blaze just clearing out that bottom Web Weaver. They do have enough gems to turn in on the side of Team Octalysis. They should look to be able to get that priority. It's not like Team Freedom, though, is not kind of out of it. It's a weird moment if you're Octalysis, because you either Web Weaver as soon as possible and then force the initiation pre-16, while you know Freedom's going to kind of delay and wait for the 16 and then get 16, get their own Web Weaver phase, or you just kind of play into that hand, look for skirmishes elsewhere and try and, you know, catch out the members of Freedom. It looks like that's the choice as the Blessed Shield gets thrown out. Wraithwalk is used, and then take the portal away.
Short cooldown, though.
Goku gets the channel. Great body blocking from Justin.
Oh,
my slam. He got the delay.
Got the delay for now. We're going to see Force of Will going out. Blaze looking for the engage. Nasmus, of course, on that Leo. He's going to be more than okay. Force again. Cure eats a lot of damage in the middle of that. Goku unable to get this turn in. There goes Lutano again deep onto Cure. Unable to confirm the kill, and you can see right now the battle for this position still very much raging on as Team Freedom starting to round the corner towards 16.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about, the stall out from Team Freedom. When they get that 16, you know they're going to want to force this fight as fast as possible. It's up to Octalysis to force or get the initiation. Zugrug enters through the portal. Justin hits the condemn. Two-man jet propulsion. Twilight Dream ends up dropping. Nasmus is going to be the focus, but March of the Black King is used. Pulse Bomb drops onto Yoda, but it doesn't end up getting a kill. Nasmus can't make it out. Another huge condemn there from Justin. Portal ends up getting laid. Polybomb comes out, but they've lost Yoda. Zugrug brings Justin in, but he drops a Blessed Shield, says thanks for the ride. Condemn in, throws down to punish. Freedom makes it out, but Octalysis fighting back.
It's what they needed. You said they needed it, and they got it before 16. More importantly, they caught up a bit in experience. That's also going to buy them some time to get this turn in. They'll need to push out that top lane. But now Octalysis has turned things around. They'll also, by the end of this, Dread, should have enough for another turn in. It will be up to Team Freedom to hold in this position and then hopefully deny that. They can, if you're on the side of Octalysis, potentially get one pick, get a boss, get a turn in, get a siege giant, something, double up, and then start to really open this up. But it all starts with this first one and how much you can push down these lanes to buy yourself that real estate to work with.
Let's find out here as the siege begins. Nasmus going to go ahead and Wraith Walk, hoping maybe rid of a little bit that DPS on the members of Octalysis. Using that beautiful 16 talent here. Jet Propulsion does end up coming through, but Stitch is comfortable for now. They bait out a baby portal.
He wanted the gorge. He's like, oh, come here, get in my belly, but he wasn't able to close that gap.
Mid-Web Weaver now going to be dealt with, but Octalysis, they're going to cycle out, look towards top. Bottom Web Weaver, nobody on the side of Team Freedom is looking to be interested in dealing with that, which means this top one is now going to gain an immense amount of value because Greymane now just showing himself this late in time should give a lot of damage and a lot of leeway over that first kind of front wall over that top keep. As we, you know, just do our best to hustle and make sure that this desk is presentable enough.
Yeah, you know, got my hair, my makeup done. We're ready.
We're ready. We're prepared. This is going to be a pretty big breaking point here. Hold up. There we go. I'm a little bit better now. I think this is towards the center here, you know, as we got the pause. But the biggest thing here between the siege is the fact that up against the keep front wall, it is going to be, I mean, really, I feel like the biggest moment where they get the initiation on the side of Octalysis because they got the mid cleared. We've got top Web Weaver and bottom Web Weaver of equal. But again, that display of the Greymane on the bottom half, that's that moment where Octalysis should get an instant initiation on top. We'll see if they try and force it. I guess the Medivh might be a big enough a turn to kind of pull away.
Yeah, there's the moment, but it also could turn on a Hook Gorge portal as well. So we'll see if they can find an opportunity. There's the portal in, going to be on cooldown. That big slam slow. You can see when Zugrug hits that slam at 16, you need as fast as feet. You need Lily feet at this point to get away. But again, Octalysis with enough for another turn in, but Team Freedom only one away as well. Cure zoning out. We'll see if they can hold on. Get this back to back.
Hook comes out. Turn-in actually completes. That, I'm going to just say it. With the Medivh composition on the other side, if your goal was to stop that turn-in, there's no way you shouldn't have been able to at least get a delay on that Web Weaver phase. Team Freedom now is going to deal with it. That in mind, I'm giving up the Web Weavers and saying we can defend this, let's look for a later play, could have been the call. But if the intent was to delay, which it showed body language-wise it was, there's only two places to turn in, Jay Howe, and you had 10 seconds delay. Medivh could have been hovering, scouting for a long while beforehand. No matter what the decision was, Octalysis get themselves another Web Weaver phase and likely going to find ourselves at least some keep damage for the first time.
Leo showing bottom, Stukov and Greymane showing mid. This is their opportunity, but Greymane has such insane clear. Again, going cocktail as well, so he can splash a lot of damage. There's going to be a portal looking for a potential Gorge. Pulse Bomb going to go onto Zugrug, but that is back. He is going to be fine, and now this keep taking some damage. The Lurking Arm going down. Zugrug looking for anybody, but the roots are going to keep him in place, but it might have bought enough time. There's going to be the Gorge.
And it's onto a Jaina this time, far different than every other Gorge we've seen before. She gets a lot of pressure or damage onto Yoda as he has to take the portal out. Twilight Dream didn't connect. Dansky kiting away, able to buy enough time. There should be a hook in about 3 seconds here for Zugrug. Throws down to slam. Dansky still the focus. Lutano goes for the throat and he finds it. Now Goku pulled back, two-man jet propulsion. Nasmus coming out from that Wraith Walk. Goku inevitably will drop. The question is that the last death here, the last victim on the side of Octalysis? It looks like that is the case, and Freedom gain back control here on 2.
You know, it's one of the things I'm like, wait a minute, that pulse, or excuse me, that force of will seemed like it was on short cooldown. So double checking, he did go that enduring will at 13. So definitely a change up here against the Jaina Tracer, making sure that you have that in multiple opportunities. So, you know, we saw the reabsorption talent at level 13, I believe, yesterday from Yoda. A little bit different style this time, enduring will, so making sure to kind of diversify against his opponents. And this is now twice Yoda playing with different builds. Falstad didn't exactly have the same results, but right now, looks like Medivh definitely working in their favor.
Freedom has enough gems to be able to force this turn in, but didn't really kind of, you know, put too high a priority here as you see them being able to pick up the Knights after that boss going. We'll see how much they manage to make happen here. I just wonder if that was too much information by picking up that Knight Camp as slow as they did, because if I'm Octalysis now, I know I have 10 seconds of free damage on this boss that isn't necessarily synergized perfectly with timing, considering the Web Weaver phase. We'll find out if it costs him too much. 20 got to be crept in on here now for Team Freedom as they focus on the keep.
Keep should fall as the Web Weaver now starting to make its way here in the top lane. And if any other kill happens, if they can land it, I thought I heard the Gorge audible noise. We'll see if that is there, but the recall out by Tracer. Instead, Boss still just a little bit of health left, but Web Weaver's here now. It's up to Jaina and team. There's going to be the Gorge, going to be rooted instantly, but it's going to be dumped off into... Wait a minute.
Into the boss, actually got the slam there on to, I believe it like hit the opposite way. I don't know. Either way, now it's going in. The damage onto the core itself going to come through. 78% and counting. First member to drop is going to be Cure on the side of Octalysis, and it looks like Team Freedom has got this one in the bag here. Hold up, maybe too early, as that is just Yoda and Nasmus. 7%, and they got it here. Hold on, and tie up this series now 1-1 against Team Octalysis.
I will say one of my biggest things with Team Freedom as I'm looking at recent history, looking at stats, things like that, trying to figure out what it is that Team Freedom needed. It was Yoda. They needed Yoda to be able to be on heroes. Yesterday, he was on the Greymane. Today, he's on the Medivh. I feel like he's making plays and he's doing it very effectively, but Lutano on that Greymane as well, just as effective. But I like the fact that they're coming together here.
Yeah, Yoda played very well. Both his Medivh games today and yesterday, I think he's played very well, both on this map as well, I believe. So definitely showing high understanding of the hero on this particular map as well.
This game, wave clear wise, and how the early game was kind of going to unfold, at least from my point of view, definitely was not the tempo I thought to be set on the composition and how much wave clear existed on the side of Octalysis. Did you feel the same when it came to the early game in the early stages of 2?
So Team Freedom actually held up better than I expected. However, Octalysis still got the first turn in that game, and they were up level 10 to 12. With their first turn in, they got a lot. They got mid fort, they got bottom fort. So it more or less went according to what I expected. You know, Team Octalysis, they played confident. They got first turn in. They said, we're going to take down all your forts, so it doesn't matter if you have the Stitches Medivh. But then they made a really big mistake that let Team Freedom back into the game. So they were level 12 to level 10. Bottom and mid forts are gone. And Team Freedom, they know they only have top fort left. So they're playing top turn in. They're trying to bait Team Octalysis into contesting so they can get a hook gorge into the top fort, which is the only one they have left. I think you should just not go anywhere near that at that point, because that's the only way you let them into the game. Even if you have to give up the turn in, you're level 12 to 10, you're going to be level 13 to 11 very soon. You can free clear it, but they did the one thing that could let Freedom come back, which is contest the turn in, and then Justin got hook gorged into top fort. They got a free pick, a free turn in, and that's exactly what Team Freedom needed to get back into the game.
Yeah, it was you know, great job there from Team Freedom, and it's important that we get that, you know, moving forward throughout the series, because by no means is it done. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and again, when we come back, more here between Freedom and Octalysis.